Hi everyone, welcome to Get Her Done Garage. Today we're going to be working on my 1986 Chevrolet Suburban K2500 or K20, or it's a 4x4 version with the solid front rear, not front rear. Why do I keep saying front rear? Front axle. So that solid axle leads us to, kind of unique for me, not for 4x4s, ball joints, front end equipment, So I'm going to be documenting how you replace these ball joints. And let me get some light here. Here's why we are replacing the ball joints. Okay, I don't think you can see that very good. Okay, see if you can see that. Yeah, so here's another way of looking at it. The ball joints are shot, and it gets a bit wobbly, a bit woolly on the road at speed. So I don't want to get the death wobble. I need to replace these ball joints. So that's going to be the episode. All right, so now it's starting to get real interesting. So took off the auto hub here. Took off the little ring that was in here, and of course there's shot everywhere. That's always interesting. And now I'm really getting into the guts of this. I've never taken off a hub off of a four-wheel drive, so we're learning as we go. I did watch some videos. Hopefully they didn't steer me wrong, but we're about to see. Apparently I can pull this, and the whole thing is supposed to come out. I think I'm going to put a screw back in here that will help me pull this. Let's see what happens here. All right. Actually, no. I think I was supposed to get this thing to come out first. Help me. How does this work? I feel like the Wizard of Oz here. Tell me how it works. I don't know how it works. All right. Well, we're all going to learn together. Throw a little light on the subject here. All right. It looks all lined up. Huh. Why don't you want to come out? Where's my tools? this come out? What am I doing here? Maybe one of you guys can give me a hand here. Looks like it should come out. Maybe I gotta press both of these at the same time. I don't know. Let's see what happens when I do that. Is that something move? Aha. It's moving out. Get some real tools. Whoa. Ow, that hurt. Prepare to have yourself jabbed a few times. No, don't go back in. You don't want to go back there. Must get a new tool. There's probably some super expensive tool. That you can buy. Makes easy work of this. No. Is at this point I can pull this thing out? I don't know. Ha ha ha. Maybe it was that way all the time. I don't know. But it's out. Alright. It's gonna go just like that. All right, so what are we looking at here? I don't know. But at least I got all that hot locking hub crap out of there. All right, let me figure out what I'm gonna do next. All right, we're back. So I removed, there's a little snap ring in there and a little washer, and now I'm about to remove this this nut here. And one of the things I just kind of wanted to remember is, you know, how loose or tight this is. It's pretty good. There's really zero bearing issues. So I'm gonna try and use this. See if I can back out on this. All right, running into my first problem. So, as you can see, the nut has 4 slots. 1, 2, 3, 4. And my $3 part has 6. So, something's got to give. May have to go all out on some modifications here. All right, so modified it. It's only a 2-prong. Let's see what happens. Well, it's moving awkwardly. Why is it so stiff? I don't know. Let me dig into this. Alright, well, we're back. So, as you can see, I got the spindle nuts off. There was 2 of them. And got this off. Here was the 2 of them. You get the first one off, then there's a washer, and then there's a second one. I bought the wrong tool. And it was too big for these nuts, so I hammered it on. Being, you know, when things don't work out, you just hammer it, right? So ended up breaking the washer that goes in between the 2 nuts. So I don't know, just be buying a new washer. And I'm going to buy the proper tools for the other side, because this is a pain in the rear. Basically took a chisel and got those nuts to come off using a chisel, and then worked them off with needle nose pliers. It was a real pain in the rear. Proper tools will prevent this. So that's why I started on one side. I learned now to get the proper tools, and yeah, that's where we're at right now. Okay, so we got the backing plate off of this hub here. It's just 6 bolts or 6 nuts, and it comes right off. And now this little part here is supposed to come off of here, and then I can access the axle. So So far it's kind of being stiff. Some guy said use a jaw puller, put a spindle nut on there, use a jaw puller. I'm going to give this a whirl, see what happens. Alright, so I've torqued on this jaw puller, and you can see it's starting to crack up a little bit here. So it's starting to come. I've been using a little bit of hammer as well, so let's see if I can bust her loose. It's not coming easy. But it's coming. Ow, right on my toe. Put a little more pressure on it. It's coming. Let's see if I can put a few more torques into it. Haha. Oh no. Jaw puller. Wait. Probably be better with a 3-jaw, but this was right on top of my pile of extraneous tools, so I just grabbed it. There we go. And just like that, it has come free. All right. Wow. So that's that. And then this axle, I guess, just comes right out. I don't know. I've never done anything like this before. So, oh yeah, there it goes. Huh. All right, well now I can access the ball joints. So that'll be next. All right, gonna hit it with some air coil here. See if we can soak that in and knock these loose. All right, let's see what happens. So This is like a 29 millimeter. Problem is, I don't know if I got room for. Aha, I do. Oh, goodness. Okay. Oh yeah, that ain't gonna be easy. Nope, that one ain't gonna be easy. Nope. All right. We're gonna have to get some. We're gonna have to get medieval on this one here. Give me a minute. All right. I can get this one with the impact, an old Harbor Freight Earthquake XT. See what it does. Oh yeah, knocked it right off. Hell yeah. Well, see how I can get that lower one then. Okay. Extra long. It's like it broke. Yeah, that broke free. Problem is, how do I get another bite on it? I was just lucky that it lined up. Alright. This is going to be one of these I have to manipulate this every turn. You gotta be kidding me. Come on, baby. Nope. Well, it might be slow, but at least it's working. I think maybe I can get at it with the impact and wobbly. Problem is the socket is too tall. That ain't gonna work. Nope. We're gonna have to figure something else out. All right, so I turned the wheel. I was able to get full access. So that makes it a lot faster. All right, well, that came off pretty easily. So all I did was get a few whacks with this on the bottom one, and the upper one I just put a nut on it and hammered on it, and it came right off. So now I got to get those ball joints out of the hub assembly, and we'll be in business. But basically, aside from me baking the washer, this has not been too difficult. And I'll make the next part when I put it together. Well, I just did my biggest bonehead move of the day today by trying to press these ball joints out the wrong way. So I was watching some videos and saw another guy press them out, and then I started looking closer and saw that, yeah, they don't press out that way. There's a lip here. They come out this way. So had I been paying attention, I would have noticed that immediately, but I blame the heat and physical exhaustion. But we're going to get them knocked out the correct way. Hopefully they're not locked in there after trying to press them out the incorrect way. Well, it's amazing what happens whenever you go the correct direction with the ball joint when you're trying to press it out. So I actually had this ball joint tool here, and the last time I was doing ball joints I had to weld this together, and actually it's working out well for this application. So here it goes. There it goes. All right, here comes the upper ball joint. Hopefully this one comes out easy too. And that's how it's done. Hey guys, welcome to Get Her Done Garage. Here I got a word of caution of my epic fail. So I got a 86 Suburban 4x4. It's got a solid front axle, 10 bolt. I was changing out the U-joints on the front axle, and yeah, I was changing out the U-joints and I pressed a little too hard. And so what I had done is I had pressed the U-joint out one way and then got the end cap off, and then was pressing it back out the other side to get the other end cap off, and pressed a little too hard. I was using my hydraulic press here. Some people hammer them out, but I used a press. And word of caution, if you press too hard, you will split it. Thanks for watching. All right, well, got all the ball joints pressed in, and now I got the, what is it, knuckle or whatever you want to call it, back onto the to the truck here. So basically what you do is you pick this up and align both of these and push it up, and then you partially torque this one, and then you take this sleeve in here, and hang on, I got the old sleeve. You got this sleeve here, and this tightens down in there, and it torques to where it's basically adjusting the distance in between these two ball joints with this sleeve. So this sleeve gets torqued down, and you got to have a special tool to torque it down. And then you torque this, and then you put the final torque on the lower ball joint. And now it's super solid, strong, not wobbly like it was before. And that's how you get this back on. All right, getting ready to install the spindle here. So got those little needle bearings in here all greased up, and I got the seal here with the lip facing outwards. And then I got this with this lip pushed onto here and this spacer on there. So basically, when I pull this apart, this seal was stuck to the spindle here. It had just split and come off and stuck to that, so that wasn't sealing. And yeah, I guess that's the way it's supposed to go together, or we're about to find out. I got my little manual here, and that's kind of what's indicating, so we'll see what happens. All right, so it says back off the adjusting nut after torquing to 35. Back off maximum 3/8 turn. And then manual hubs is this. But basically you're backing off to get this ring and lock nut to go on there. So tang on the inside diameter of the ring must pass onto the slot of the spindle, and then the hole in the ring must align with the pin. So I got this right there. That's working. And then you can see the pin is already aligned with the hole. I got very lucky. So this torque at 35, I don't think I need to back it off any. I'm just going to let this ride right here and see how this works. So I got the washer on there. That seems to spin pretty good. I got 0 play in that. And then I'm going to torque this lock nut on there. The lock nut to, holy crap, 160 foot-pounds minimum? 160? Wow, that's not going to be fun. So, all right. Then we got to measure the end play. I'm going to tighten this lock nut here. Well, I got updates. So as I was torquing this outer nut to 160 foot-pounds, I got some regrets here. So I got it pretty tight, didn't get 160, and my torque wrench wasn't beeping. And then I was like, I'm gonna back this off and just check it all out. So I backed it off, and the ring is supposed to have this inner point at the top. Well, it was over here, so it had slipped off that tang and it moved, and I was going, so what the heck's going on here? So it took me forever to get this thing off. Had to rotate it back, and now I'm realizing I probably damaged some of these threads by this thing spinning on the thread. Hopefully not too bad. But anyway, I'm going to retorque this inner nut and try this all again. I don't think I'm going to go on this secondary nut to 160. I've looked on the internet. Some people say 65. I'm going to try 65 and see what happens. So here we go. All right, well, I may have said I'm not taking this off, but I had to, because the pin had sheared off. So I took this off. It came off without any problem. Didn't look like there was any damaged threads, but the pin had been totally boogered up. So how'd I get a new pin? Well, I found a drill bit that is the correct size, drove it in there, and cut it off. So we're gonna try this, see what happens. And I'm gonna go ahead and torque this down like I did before and set the bearings, and then we're gonna go from there. I am gonna, it said torque to 35, and then it implied to back off, but I don't know. And so I'm gonna back it off a little bit and then put this washer on there and then torque the other one to 65 and see what happens. All right, I got my spindle on here. So what I had to do was put the spindle on and then use the nuts to cinch it tight. It was a pretty tight interference fit to pull it in, but the nuts pulled it in without any problems. Just used 2 nuts to go back and forth and got it on there. And then pulled those nuts off and then put the backing plate on and then put it all back together and torque the nuts down. And about to put on the hub and rotor. So I made a little mistake when I did it this first time. So turns out there's this nut goes on first with the pin sticking out for that ring to lock on, and then this one without the pin goes on there. So had to take it apart, of course. So I'm going to put this hub rotor on, tighten it down, and then I got to find out how to torque these wheel bearings. There's a specific procedures on how to do it. I got to figure that out, and then I'll walk you through it. All right, so we're gonna set the bearings here. So the first thing it says is tighten it to 50 foot-pounds while spinning the rotor. So I got this set to 50, and it said this is to set the bearings. There's this very specific sequence. So, tightening. All right, that's about 50. That's pretty stiff to turn, but not bad. And then back off. So back it off. Well, there it is. Back it off. All right. Okay. Now, tighten it back to automatic hubs. Go to 35 foot-pounds. All right. Go to 35 while rotating. I got automatic hubs. I know everyone's going to criticize me for my automatic hubs, but that's what I got. 35 foot-pounds. All right, go up to 30, 35, it said. Automatic hubs. I'm gonna try it without this extension. See if that gives me better control. Let's see, it might hit the wheel arch. Overshot it. All right. All right, that's 35. Okay. And then for automatic hubs, back off 3/8 of a turn maximum. For manual hubs, back off to free the bearing. Interesting. It's really quite different for automatic and manual. All right, so I think the backing off is to get this washer to line up with the pin. Let me go get that. All right, so I got that first nut on there, torqued that to 50, then 35, and then backed it off about 2/8 quarter turn, something around there. And then I put the washer on, and then I torqued this secondary nut on there. Got up to 65. It seemed like it was no problem. And then the little pin was exposed a little bit on that notch, so I turned it a little bit more to cover up the pin, and this is where it's going to ride. So there's zero play in this at all, and I'm going to see what happens. All right, guys, well, we're back, and I'm putting this back together. I've got the spindle nut on there, and then so it says to put this snap ring in there, then the spacer, right? The retaining ring, then spacer. But then you go over here, it says put the spacer in and retaining ring. So I'm pretty sure the spacer was first and then the retaining ring was next. I watched some videos, that's what everyone else had. So again, the manual's wrong. And then I put the hub assembly on the vehicle. After, so the hub assembly, I lubed the heck out of it. Well, first I cleaned the heck out of it. Then I put a lot of wheel bearing grease on it. Took it about halfway apart, and there's some videos of the guy lubing up that the little brake spring thing there. This it's essentially where'd it go? This little thing, and lubing it and just putting wheel bearing grease on that, and then I put it all together. And it doesn't say it anywhere, but some guy said put it in transmission fluid and then let it dry. So that's what I did. I put it in transmission fluid and let it dry. That way it's got some coating of oil everywhere. Not like dry, but let it drain off. So I did that and put it in there. It went in pretty good. Where you put the hub assembly to the vehicle, put the ring to the clutch gear, Put the tangs in there, put the little keeper in there. And then it comes to put this spring. Well, the book says you're supposed to clamp this down, put the spring in there, and do it that way. But we took the spring off when it was still on the car. So how am I supposed to get this spring to compress down and then get this little ring back into place? Well, the old ratchet strap to the rescue. So I got a ratchet strap to start tightening this down. You had to tighten it one click and then reposition it and tighten it another click and reposition it. But I finally got it to where it was all on there, and it worked really well. So use a ratchet strap to get this spring compressed down, and then you have this little clip here that clips it all in place, and that's all I did. And we'll be putting the rest of it on here in a second. All right, next is, putting this little bearing here, right here. That's that bearing. And next is the seal. Boy, this seal is old and crusty, but it's still in one piece. Went to find new old stock on eBay, and they're 25 bucks each, so I'm not going to do that. I put the spring in the cover here, and got some screws, and here we go. This is the final countdown. And that's it. I'll tighten these up as per the manual, and got it all rebuilt. Gonna move on to the next side, put the calipers on, everything else, and we should have it done. Thanks for watching.